All right, I'm looking at today's Fibble. If you're not familiar with Fibble, this is like Wordle, but on every line, one of the clues is a lie, and we're starting with asset. Now, I've been thinking about doing this slightly different. So usually what I do is I try to guess a word that's mostly the same, right? But what I would like to try and do is guess a word. You know, I might try something like upset. That's gonna repeat some letters. But I'd like to try and do sort of a Fibble hard mode and guess a word that could be an answer, because upset could not be the answer here, because you'd have to have too many lies. So I'd like to try and guess a word that could be the answer. I think that'll be interesting. So, now, starting with all grays makes it a lot harder to do this way, so maybe I should have waited until my next Fibble video to try it, but we're gonna go for it. So, I'm gonna assume that S is true. Now, it'd be interesting, I could assume that this S is the lie, and we could do something with the double S. That might be interesting, because that way I can do the most kind of repeated letters that way. Now, I could assume that the A or the E is a lie as well, and do something with an AS or an ES. That's not too bad either. That might be better than the double S, actually. You know, we could do something like slope, which would work. That would make the yellow S true, the gray S true, the gray A true. The E would be the lie. I think that's pretty good. Let's go with slope. Okay. So, interesting. So we know, what do we know? What do we know? Not much. Not much. So, right. So either this is a lie, or this is a lie, right? If the yellow S is true, then the gray S is the lie. If the gray S is true, then the yellow S, other way around. If the gray S is true, the yellow S is a lie. So one of those two is a lie. Whichever one of those two is a lie, the E is definitely true on that line, which makes it true on both. So the E is true. Now, is it possible that this is a lie? If it is, this has to be a lie. That's possible. If there was two S's in the word, that would be possible. Okay, I'm gonna work off the assumption that this is the lie and this S is true, the yellow S is true, that there is an S in the word. Now, if it was supposed to be at the beginning, if that S is supposed to be a green, then we would have to have an O somewhere else. Something like this. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I'm thinking yellow S here is kind of my assumption, which is not necessarily true. There could be no S, but so if the E is not the lie, so now we've got to think back. So we did slope assuming, you know, as if the E was the lie, right? If we're gonna assume the S is true, now we could either put an A or we could put a T in there. Those two could be, one of those two could be the lie. So let's see, if we're assuming the S is a lie, the gray S is a lie, that means that the O is true, so there has to be an O. The L is also true. So we would have to do something like this. Actually, if this is supposed to be yellow, then the S, oh, it has to be fourth or fifth, so we could do like this. But if this is the lie and this yellow S is true and the gray S is true, we can't put the S third. So, interestingly, if this is a yellow S, what's gonna come before the L? It can't be an E, it could be the O, maybe, but it can't be an A. Could it be an A? Could it be an A? It could be an A. It'd have to be like this. But it can't be altos, because we can't have the A and the T be lies. So I don't like that either. So I'm kind of leaning towards this gray S being true and the yellow S being the lie. Which then means we could do the P potentially, something like this. Or the O could be the lie. And we could have an LO. But if the yellow S at the beginning is the lie, then we can't do an A or a T. Do something like glowy. I think that would work. So that would mean the O is the lie here. The S and the P are true, the L is true. The yellow S would then be the lie here. So that would work. Let's do glowy. That's not in the word list, okay. But we can't do glows, because that would make the O a lie and the S a lie. We could do something like flowy, maybe. That might work better instead of glowy. That works, I mean, that works just as, seems just as likely. That's not in the word list. None of these are in the word list. Blowy. Is blowy a word? The problem is, if the O is a lie, the S can't be a lie. Blowy, okay. All right, so one of the two L's is a lie, which means the O is true. Interesting, so if the W is a lie, the gray L is true, which makes the green L a lie. In which case, the gray S is true and we've got like almost no letters. So if there's no W, then there's no L and there's no S. If there is a W, there could still be no L, we don't really know. But we know there's an O and it's not third, so now I'm kind of thinking O second and no L. Something like, south would work. So south would work. What that would do is that means that this is the lie, the yellow S is true, the T is a lie, and the W is the lie. I think that works. Let's try south. Okay, so what does that tell us? What does that tell us? Well, we know there's an O, so this is probably true, but it could be a lie and the O is somewhere else. Interestingly, we've had a yellow S twice now and a gray T twice now. So, so we can't have an S and a T. No, they could still, the yellow S's could still both be true, and the gray T's could still both be lies. Let's say it was something like this, right? Like joust. Joust actually might work. Because the way this would work is the T is the lie in both places. The S is true in both places. This S would still be the lie there. The W would still be the lie there. Joust actually works. I'm gonna try joust. Okay, it's not joust, but what do we know now? What do we know? Unfortunately, not much. Because it could still be something O-U-S-T, potentially. What would that be? Is there something else that would work? I don't think there is. But as far as the lies and stuff, it could still be something O-U-S-T. But I don't think that's possible. I'm inclined to think the O is true. The green O. The green U, I think, is true. I want to think the S is true as well, but what's gonna be... So at this point, if there is a T in the word, the T is the lie on all three of these. Actually, you know what's possible is roust. And I like that as a guess because one, it's possible, right? Two, it does my kind of repeating a bunch of letters thing. That'll help us get a contradiction, hopefully. Let's go with roust. Is it roust? It's not roust. But, okay, good. So we got a contradiction here, the S's. So one of these two S's is a lie, which means the O's, the U's, and the T's are true. We know the gray T is true, so all of these are now true. Okay, this O and U is true. So now either the yellow S or the gray H is the lie. Now, it can't be house because We know there's no E. So I'm just thinking if the H was the lie here and there is an S, H-O-U-S, I don't think works, but it could be something like this? I don't know what that would be either. So if the H is a lie, that means there is an H. It's either got to be at the beginning or the end. If the H is the lie, that means there is an S. So it would have to be, I mean, it could be this if both of the S's were, no, ooh. But if the, yeah. If, oh wait, no, hold on. Let's think about this. If the green S is true, then the J is a lie, and there has to be a J. It would have to be O-U-S-J, or J-O-U-S, I don't think so. So I don't think this S can be the gray S, I don't think the green S can be true. I think that has to be a lie, is what I'm saying. Now, it could be that the yellow S is true, and we're supposed to have an S-O-U. It could still be, the S would be the lie here. Oh, you know what we know now? We know this, we know the green L is the lie, because we know there's an O here. Okay, let's go back here for a second. The green L is a lie, which makes the gray S true. Okay, so this is the lie. This is true, this is true, this is a lie. So all of these S's are lies then, because we know the gray S is true. So these are lies, these are true. This is true. We don't know for sure if there is an L actually, because it could be a lie because it's yellow, which would make this one also a lie. That's possible. So all we've got now is the OU. We might have an L, we might have a W. We could have both. So let's do wound or wound and assume that the W is true. But if the W is true, what's the lie? Then we have to have a B, an L, or a Y. So if the W is true, then you have to have a B, L, or Y in the word. So we can't do wound. So, and if the W is true and it's not W at the beginning, you'd have to have a W at the end. I don't like that, so I don't think the W can be true. I think the W has to be the lie, which makes the L true. So that means all we have is the OU and no other letters. We could do found. Found would work. Let's do found. Okay, it's not found, but we know this is the lie. The rest of these are true. There is a D at the end, so we have OU something D. And it can't be wound or wound. Wood, oh, wood. We can have a W and an L. The W can be true, the L can be the lie. It's gonna be wood. Ah, there we go, okay. All right, I was thinking W, O, U, and L wouldn't work, but it would work. Pun unintended. Okay, so the L was the lie there, yep, so we had most of them figured out. Okay, well, it definitely makes it a little bit trickier when you try and do what I'm calling Fibble hard mode. I don't think is that a thing? I don't think Fibble hard mode is a thing. It's just sort of a self-inflicted thing that I decided to do. But it does make it a little bit tricky when you have to guess something that could be an answer, and you can't just, repeat a bunch of letters to check for contradictions immediately. So there you go. Let me know how you did with today's Fibble and what you think of the Fibble hard mode. Have you tried it before? What do you think? Should I do anything differently? And be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon with some more puzzles. Here's an interesting question. Which song has spent the most time at number 2 on the Billboard Top 100 without making it to that was
number
really
1?
good. On the left, awesome. Ballet over here. Okay, it is L and T, just like I was thinking. Now, alphabet. There we go, that's a good one.